Hi everyone, it's Imogen and welcome back to Colouring Kid. I hope you're all doing well. In today's video I'm going to be sharing my haul for the months of November and December. So recently I've started putting 2 months together in one haul just because I don't usually get that much in a month to sort of warrant doing a separate video, and I also now don't have time to really do separate ones every month. Obviously the last few months have been the exception to that because of my birthday and Christmas being so close together, which is why I did separate videos. But these are the things that I did get during those months, aside from those hauls. So I hope you enjoy watching if you're interested in this sort of thing and getting inspiration for things that you might be interested in. As I always say with these, I'm just here to sort of share what I've got. I'm not showing off at all about anything that I've got. I love watching hauls, and actually they do give me really good inspiration and things to add to my wish list. So yeah, I am going to get started. Before I do, actually, I did just want to mention that there has been a lot going on recently with me, and I do plan on doing a colouring chat very soon to update you. I wanted to get one done over the Christmas holidays and I didn't get a chance because I was just focusing on my big All Making Piece of Pages videos, which obviously took quite a while to do, but I do really need to do a colouring chat, and I do have the February half term coming up in a couple of weeks, so I'm really hoping that that will be a good opportunity to be able to do that. But yeah, we're going to get started. So I am going to start with two products that were actually sent to me from Grabie. So this is a company that I've worked with a few times before, and I've shared things in my hauls, and they have some really unusual products on their website. Some things are definitely more colouring related, some things are more art related. So if you're into both sorts of hobbies, then there's definitely things for you if you're interested in them. So as I said, I have two things to share with you. The first product are these Mirandi pens. Now, I had never seen these before, and I thought the colours were really unusual because they sort of reminded me of the Emot fine liners. I've never tried them before, but just the way they looked really similar to them. And these are what they look like. So they come in this really nice packaging, and the way they look I really like. They have the colour on the tip, and I think they have numbers, yeah, like code for their colour. But yeah, they essentially are fine liners, but they've got quite a big tip, and I actually think that once you use them quite a lot, they feel a lot softer than fine liners. The tip isn't necessarily any bigger, but they're really nice to use. Now, unfortunately, when I did get them, some of them were quite dry, and I don't think that was anything to do with how the product was made itself. I think that maybe just the ink wasn't quite as juicy perhaps as some of the other ones. None of the tips were damaged or anything like that, so I don't think it was to do with the actual manufacturing of them in that sense. But these are the colours, and they all work. Like, I can definitely use most of them. I think perhaps it's sometimes the lighter colours, and I've had that with other sets as well, especially with the Archies fine liners. Some of the really light pinks were just not working, and maybe that's because there's less pigment in them, I'm not sure, but the colours are so beautiful. And when I saw them, I thought, well, this would be an absolutely fantastic set to have for the style of colouring that I do, because I use a lot of muted tones, and often in bigger sets of fine liners you do get some muted tones, but in smaller ones they're quite hard to come by. So to have this selection is just amazing. I especially love things like this green here, the lighter purples, just the very smoky colours. I love them. So this is also the 24 set. So originally I think they were going to send the 48, but I don't think they have the 48 set anymore. So I will link down in the description this set if you're interested. They are very unusual colours and ones that I haven't really seen before in other sets. I think they're so beautiful and really fantastic colours. There's also some information here if you're interested in winning a gift card, and also a code for money off as well. So if you are on Instagram, Grabie do have an Instagram account. They're always putting really inspirational reels up and things if you're interested. But But yeah, I can't wait to use these more. I have used them in a picture, which I will share it in my completed pages video at the end of the month. If you've been with me for a while, you know that I use fine liners a lot for basing, and then I go over with pencil. And actually in this case, because some of the colours were really well suited to the page I was doing, I did just use them on their own, and then yeah, didn't use any shading. So I think the colour selection are great, and I can't wait to use them more. I haven't decided yet if I will keep them in the packaging. I probably will. They're really secure, even though you may think that they would fall out, they actually don't. Yeah, they're lovely, very sleek packaging. And then the other thing I have are these brush tip acrylic paint markers. Now, I have never tried acrylic paint markers in a brush tip form before, and I was really intrigued by these. They very kindly offered to send me something else to try out because some of the pens were slightly dry in the other set, which was really, really generous of them. And I decided to try out these because they were something new, something exciting, and I do have an acrylic paint set that I tried from them a long time ago. I want to say it was like almost 2 years ago, and I do still use them, but some of them I can tell are running out, and the tips are also very different from these. So these are similar to what I imagine are also on the market that are quite similar. I have seen brush tip markers before, and they seem to be sort of the similar thing, and people really enjoy them. And I have to say, I think I may be converted. In terms of the opacity with these, they are fantastic, and I was really, really surprised considering they are a brush tip. I thought that they would be more like a watercolour, like in terms of that sort of opacity, quite watery, because they're in a brush tip form, not sort of a more concentrated form in a pen. But they really, really did surprise me. I thought they were absolutely amazing, and if I'm doing lettering, they're perfect for that. If I'm using them for colouring, they're perfect, and I can get smaller areas and bigger areas, obviously with them being a brush tip. What I will say is that if I am doing really tiny areas and I'm wanting very precise dots, I'll probably still go back to using a pen. But for larger areas, these are fantastic, and it's something I've never been able to do before. I also think that because you can do bigger areas with them, they are definitely a contender for the bigger Posca pens, because Posca pens are really expensive, and I don't have any really, really thick acrylic paint markers apart from some sets I got a few years ago, which are really, really thick, sort of chisel nibbed, which are perfect for bigger projects. And I did do a bigger project and they were perfect for that. But for colouring, not so much, unless you're doing an acrylic paint background. That might be quite useful actually to have a big Posca, but I think these are a very good contender. Now, I did do a card for my mum for her birthday using these pens, so I'm just going to grab that now so I can share it with you. So this is the drawing that I did for my mum just using these pens. I did a light pencil sketch, but then it was all the acrylic paint markers. I think I used maybe 5 or 6 colours. I did do a few layers. The first initial layer wasn't that streaky actually. I thought if I was doing a bigger area it might be, but I just thought to make it really, really opaque I'd do 2. And then I went in with more colours over the top, and I love the shiny finish with these. You'd never know looking at it that it was an acrylic paint marker, which I really like. And also these pink dots are still with the acrylic paint marker, so they are really versatile. I wasn't expecting to be able to get fine details done with these pens. I thought I'd have to go back to some of my smaller tips, but I think they're amazing, and I enjoy doing this a lot, and I'm looking forward to doing more projects with these. Definitely I'll be using them more in my colouring books, because I've used them again on the same page that I was talking about that I use the Mirandi pens on. They're fantastic. I don't think they are selling this particular set anymore, unfortunately. I think they've been discontinued, but there are very similar ones on the market, and hopefully, you know, they would be the same sort of quality, because these are very, very good quality. Let me just show you, oh sorry, let me just show you one of the pens, what they look like. So they are a really nice size, not too thick. And then this is what the tip looks like, and they are very easy to use. They aren't too hard either. Sometimes I've used brush tips that aren't acrylic but are just brush tip ones, and sometimes they are either really I don't know what the word is, like just they're not firm enough and they don't work that well for lettering or colouring. These are just the right mix really of how they work. Let me just grab a bit of paper to show you what I mean. So you can, it probably isn't the best colour to use actually for lighting. Let me grab a darker one. Yeah, you can be really, really versatile with them. And, you know, you can play around with them a bit, but they're not so soft that you can't like get a good shape with them when you're drawing. So I'm really impressed with them, and I'm looking forward to using them more. Again, I'm not sure if I will keep them in this packaging. The only thing that is slightly tricky with them is that, see, if you take them out, they then move about, but they're great. So if you haven't tried brush tip markers before, these could be the new thing. So, and even though they're water-based, it amazes me that they are, because they are very opaque. So yes, they are very exciting, and I can't wait to try them out more. Sorry, I keep shaking the camera. I've been out of practice. I haven't filmed for a little while. I've got 2 books to share with you now. I'm not buying as many books now than I used to. It was usually always a given that I'd buy 1 or 2 books in a month, and actually in January I haven't bought any. There are books that I always have on my wish list that I'd really love to get. It's just to do with time. I'm sort of, you know, I don't have as much time to colour, so I'm not buying as many, even though it would just be lovely to have them to look at the illustrations. I'm also trying to save for travelling and obviously uni and stuff, so yeah, it's a shame that I can't buy as many as I used to, but I think that's also good because it does mean that I'm appreciating the ones I have as well. So the first book, I'm sure, will come as no surprise. This has been everywhere the past few months. This is Little Secrets from My Fairy House by Clara Markova. Now, I have shown this in videos before, just not formally in a haul. I bought this from Tony from on the Clara Markova Facebook page. So I believe she's one of the admin members, I think that's right, and you can just contact her, private message her and ask for the books. I don't think she sells the first 2 Clara Markova books, but apart from that you should be good, including the postcards. She also sells them, and considering it's coming from the Netherlands, it's really reasonable shipping, at least to the UK. I was quite surprised that it wasn't as expensive as I thought when I first, because I don't think Clara's selling on her Etsy to the UK anymore. So if you are interested in these books, I think Tony is probably one of the only places where you can buy them. So definitely ask her if you're interested. Yeah, I'll be transparent. When I originally wanted to get the book, I was thinking £55–60. That's what I was expecting. It ended up being just over 40, I think, with the book being about 25 and the shipping about 15. And I had set money aside specifically for this and pre-ordered it in September. So it was a really nice surprise when I actually did get it. I didn't then have to pay the money up front. I'd already paid for it. But it was definitely a lot more reasonable than I thought. These books are stunning and they are expensive. For the amount of time I'm going to get out of them, I do think it's worth it. I know it's a lot to pay, and in some cases, depending on where you live, it does end up being very expensive, and I think we all appreciate that. It's just, yeah, I guess it's up to you whether you think that the expenses, you know, whether it's affordable or whether you want to pay that much. It's, you know, it's all personal, really, personal preference, but I'm so pleased that I do have it, and I really love it. There are some pages that I just think are so gorgeous, and I love that we still go through the seasons in her books. We get lots of Christmassy ones. This is one of my favourites. I have completed the nameplate page. This is the page that I've been talking about in the video, but I will save that for my completed pages because I'm not completing that many pages at the moment, so obviously I want to keep them for that video specifically. We get the doors at the end again. The paper apparently as well is slightly different to her other books. I think it's a good change. I haven't noticed much of a difference, to be honest, but When I have used Holbein's in her other books before, they've worked absolutely fine, but to me it was more of they felt more slippy going on the page sometimes, and you couldn't layer as much. Whereas I feel like with these, it might just be that my colouring style has changed, but I got the desired effect I wanted with them, and I didn't feel like the paper was preventing me from putting layers down. I really like it. I don't think you can tell that much of a difference unless you really know a lot about the paper and how they compare, but it's just so beautiful. So there are loads of flip throughs online. It's just such a gorgeous book, and I love the spine. I just think it will go so wonderfully with the others. Same amount of pages as all her other books apart from the first one. I think it's 112 pages. So yeah, that is Little Secrets from My Fairy House by Clara Markova. And the other book I want to share with you is Animo Dubois by Paul Boone. I'm really sorry if that's not right. I always try with my French, but it's not quite there. This is a book that Barbara Colour was sharing on her channel a few months ago. I did get this in November, I want to say. When I bought it, I got it from Amazon, and it was a really decent price. I think I'd waited for it to drop a bit because it was about £20 at one point, and then it dropped, I think it was about 12. I'm so glad that I got it though, because the paper is some of the best paper that I've ever had in a colouring book. I just can't get over it. It's amazing. There are a few other books in this, well, it's not in the series, it's the same publisher by different artists. There is another book coming out though by this illustrator in a few months. I believe it's like a tropical book. And it reminded me a lot, especially the floral pages, of Layla Dooley, and I was so excited about that because I've really been getting into doing Layla Dooley pages more recently. But the thing that I love about this is, yes, there are still the lovely crisp thin lines like her books, but also there are more animals. That's the only thing in her flower yearbook that I wish there were more of, because I love how she draws her animals. Like there's some rabbits here and there, and the bugs and things as well. But it's like the perfect mix between the realistic animals and all of the beautiful foliage and flowers and things. I love it. I haven't coloured in it yet. I've been desperate to. I think once I've completed a few of my whips, this will be a book that I am going to work in. I'll probably start out with something smaller, like one of these pages. I don't want to dive straight into a big scene. But the paper, honestly, is amazing. I don't really know what thickness it is, but it's wonderful. So yeah, if you like getting books purely on what the paper's like, I would definitely suggest checking out some of the other books. I believe Barbara has also done flip throughs of a few other books in this by these publishers. So in the back as well, there's all of the information about the pages, which obviously you can translate, but it's also nice if you're one of those people that likes to tick off when you've done a page. It's nice to have the index in the back and get an overview of all the pages as well. And it sort of goes through the seasons. There are definitely more autumnal pages and the occasional winter one sort of dotted about. But again, with this sort of thing, you could easily make it anything you wanted it to be. If you want a floral picture in all blues and make it look wintry, there's nothing to say you can't do that. I'm a big fan of these sorts of pages, and the page Barbara started colouring was beautiful. So yeah, definitely one on my list to get round to. Now that I have worked in Clara's new book, I really want to turn my attention to this at some point soon when I get an opportunity. Okay, so now we move on to supplies and some crafty bits as well. So the first thing was something that I got at the beginning of November, and I was really restrained, and I did wait and open this during Advent. So I got an advent calendar, a paint advent calendar from Archies Paint. And this is something that I've never done before, and I was really excited. My mum got it for me, which is really kind of her. And I just loved opening it. It was really nice. It felt, I didn't have a chocolate advent calendar this year. Usually I have one of those, but it just felt so much more like meaningful and nicer. I don't know how to explain it, but just opening it and then trying the paint out, and Oh, it was so wonderful. Especially since December was such a busy month for me, having this to go through it was really nice. So all of these were wrapped so beautifully. There was a bit of paper on top of them, attached to some washi tape. So each one you peeled away to reveal the paint, and they look like baubles as well, because Kaylee has hand-drawn all of these in to make them look like baubles, which I think is such a cute idea. And then I pre-ordered mine back in October, I want to say. And so if you pre-ordered them, you got a little swatch chart with all the names, which I love, because now I know what the names of them are. And it's really exciting because I think she's hoping to release them, the colours individually, as quarter pans and half pans, I think, in February. And there are some that I'm really interested in getting. Some of the colours I was like, oh my gosh, that's so beautiful. I, you know, really want to get them. And then actually, some of them are quite similar to paints that I have. So for example, the Nutcracker one I love, and it's fairly similar to a purple I already have. So again, because I'm trying to save and things like that, if I do get some, I'll probably be quite strategic about which colours I pick, just because as much as I love them all, if they're quite similar to things I already have, then I probably won't get them, but I'll definitely get quarter pans so that I can get a few more. That Snow Cloud in particular is one of my absolute favourites. Ornament as well. Those two are definites. And all the ones that are shaded in, I'd be really interested in getting, but of course I probably won't be able to get them all. But I'm really happy that Kaylee might be selling them individually, because I love doing this, and it's great having the tester. And I'm glad that I did the dot card one, because it means that I will actually have, you know, the hope of using them all. And some of my favourite colours as well, I got a really big ones for, which was nice. So it was just such a wonderful advent calendar, and if Kaylee does do this again, I will definitely be getting it for this year. I think other people that sell paints also do these, so if you are wanting an advent calendar for this year, or people may even be selling them, I'm not sure if there are necessarily any left, but it's just a good way to try out paints as well. These paints were specifically made for the advent calendar. I don't know if that's the case for other advent calendars that are done, whether they're all new paints, but yeah, I loved it. It was so fun, and just the effort that went into making this, it just looks so beautiful. So yeah, thank you so much, Kaylee. So I then have a few pens that I got from a local art shop, which were for my bullet journal. So my bullet journal this year is a lovely green colour, which almost matches this pen. And I wanted to get a few pens to go with it, because last year my colour scheme was blue, pink and sort of a blue violet colour, this colour. And so I wanted to switch it up a bit, seeing as I had a different colour for my bullet journal, and I'm really pleased with the colour palette, and I'm enjoying filling out my advent calendar bullet journal this year when I have an opportunity. So it's for all my colouring, so I chart my completed pages when I start things, pages that I'd like to colour, things like that. So this is a replacement of a pen that I've gone through about 3 of these, I think. These are my favourite pens for calligraphy. These are the brush sign pens by Pentel, and I've got quite a few other colours of these. They're fantastic, and they're so good, because the nibs are just perfect. And before I got these, I was hopeless at calligraphy. I mean, I'm still not great at it. It takes quite a while, and I still feel like I've got a long way to go. But it makes it so much easier to do. So if you've always wanted to try calligraphy, these are definitely a good pen to try out. They're just so wonderful. And then I also got 2 Tombow pens. Now these are very expensive, so I didn't buy that many. I've got quite a few of these. I think I have about 10, but none of the colours really went with my colour scheme, and they were also drying out. So this is Asparagus. Now the names aren't actually on the pen, but they are in the shop. and this pretty much matches the cover of my book, so I was really pleased that there was a green, because I was struggling to find a green that sort of what I was after, and I love it. And this one, I can't remember what it's called, but it's a really nice pink. It's not too light. There was another pink that I was going to go for that was really light, and I thought, actually, what's the point of going for it if actually you're not going to be able to see it? And then the pink's a really good darker alternative. So that's my colour scheme, and I'm really pleased with it. And now I know that I can get replacements if I need to. What else? Let me share these. So I had spotted on Sarah Francis Art on Etsy a lovely little decoration for my dad to get for my mum to put on her stocking this year, and it was a little robin. And I found out about Sarah Francis Art because I bought this washi tape in Devon, and I've been using it non-stop. Absolutely love it. It's a forget-me-not pattern, and then I found that she was on Etsy. Whilst I was looking on the shop and I saw the robin, I saw a few other things, and I thought, well, seeing as my dad's going to be getting that anyway for her and he's going to have to pay for shipping, I'll get these couple of things to make it more worthwhile, because the shipping, I mean, it wasn't expensive, but you know, it would make more sense than doing 2 separate orders. So it came with this really cute sticker, this free sticker of the robin, which was so sweet. And then I also bought this washi tape with these eggs on, and I love it. I've been using it, which is why it doesn't have a straight edge. There we go. With all of these beautiful eggs on, and I don't have a washi tape that's anything like this, and I just think it's so beautiful. We've got placemats in our kitchen which are birds with eggs on the outside. I can't remember who the artist is, but it reminded me so much of that, and her washi tapes are really reasonably priced as well. And then I also bought some paper, so I'm not sure whether I'm going to use this for stickers yet, or wrapping, or collage, I'm not sure, but it was such good value. It was like £1.80 for a whole sheet, and it matches my washi tape. So they had there were a lot of different papers on their website, but I decided to go for this one because obviously it matches, and I love this design. And it came in this really cute bag as well, and this is the company East of India, and I've bought some tape, that bird tape that I use all the time for things, is the same company, I think, and you can find their products in lots of different places, but I thought that was just a lovely way to package it, and I really loved it. So yeah, there are some wonderful things on the shop, as well as prints and things as well. I think there's a lot of arty pieces if you're interested in those. I was very excited about those. I know we're past the whole like Christmas thing, but I do have a few other Christmassy things to share. I hope that's okay. So we went to Hobbycraft maybe in November, I think it was, end of November, because I was wanting to get some bags and things, like treat bag sort of things, to put some gingerbread in that I'd made for my friends. And we managed to find some, and they were perfect. I had some snowflake ones left over, which I used for some snowflake biscuits, but then I was making Christmas tree ones, and these are perfect. And I love them because I'm going to use them for putting, I don't know, like crafty things in as well if I'm making gifts. And I think I've got about 8 left, so I just thought they were beautiful. And my mum got some because I was making biscuits for people at work as well. And I also got, I haven't done this, but a mini cross-stitching kit. I used to get these all the time and make them as cards for people, and this one just really caught my eye because I thought, well, it won't take too long. It would be nice to do next year. And yeah, even though I'll be at uni next year, I probably won't get a chance, but it would be nice to do, because I do really like cross-stitching, and I used to do it a lot, and I don't get around to doing it enough. I did complete Snowman cross-stitch, the dog. I had got a kit maybe it was only last year in a sale, and I finished that for this year, and we've got it up. But yeah, that's going to be fun, and that was like £1, I think. It was really inexpensive, it was on a deal. And then there were also these little treat bags which I got, which are going to be useful, not for Christmas, but just anyway. I thought they were really cute. Love the colour. And then these stickers again were a really good deal. I think they were £1-ish, £1.50, and I thought they were really sweet. These this design in particular reminded me of rifle paper, and there's lots of sheets as well, so I don't have to worry about using them. I don't know how many you get, probably about 10. No, 5 I think, because there's 100 stickers. But yeah, I spotted those. And then the last thing I have to share with you is actually from Oxfam. Now, it depends which one you go to. The one that we have near us is an actual bookshop, and it also sells things that are specific to Oxfam. So I don't know when they started doing it, but they sell things aside from, I think some are more like charity shop Oxfam shops, and then you have others like ours, which is a bookshop. And this washi tape was on sale when my mum was there, and she's like, oh, do you want me to pick it up for you? And I was so happy that she did, because I just think it's so cute. Now, I struggled to get this out of the packaging last time I was using it, so I might just end up having to, oh dear, okay, that just broke. Oh well. But this washi tape, oh my gosh, it's so cute. Now, they're 3 meters of the same, 3 rolls of the same design, which again I'm happy about because it means I don't have to worry about using it. So there's 15 meters in total, and it's this beautiful winter animal washi tape. And it's a thick washi tape as well, which is something that again is harder to come by than other washi tapes. Most of the MT washi tapes are quite thin. It's not that sticky. I think I'll have to be careful with what I use it on. I tried using it on some shiny tissue the other day, and it didn't work very well. But on paper it would be absolutely fine. But it's just so sweet, and I love the design, and I think it's so beautiful. So yeah, that's everything that I have to share with you. I really hope you enjoyed watching. Obviously some more crafty things in there, but obviously most of the stuff you'll probably be able to find if you were interested in them. I know that we have a lot of people who are into art as well as colouring, who, you know, follow each other's channels. So yeah, just some fun things there, which I was really excited to share. So yeah, I hope you're all doing well. And yeah, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. Everything's down below as usual in the description. I'll make sure to put all the information about Grabie in the description as well for you if you're interested. And I will see you all in my next video. Take care, everyone. Bye.